ironically, is when they do this, they prove the need for a Jewish state. They prove the need for a safe place for Jews. So what they do with this is they set back the Palestinian cause, but it's a nihilistic approach. They just don't give a fuck. It's someone else's problem. We're not going to build civilian bomb shelters. It's someone else's problem. We're going to start a war. A lot of civilian casualties, not our problem. We're going to, terrorize Jews around the world and thereby increase Aliyah, increase population of Israel, show the world why Israel's necessary. They're not, they're not playing checkers or chess. It's a very brutal approach. That's it. In my mind, just October 7th showed why there can't be a separate country in Gaza, because there was one and it failed.
And not only that, I think it shows not only does Israel need to exist, but if it needs to expand its territory for its safety, then that's necessary as well, including, so...
Starting with buffer zones, obviously.
Exactly.
That's the biggest starting point. But listen, at any given time, let's not forget one obvious thing, okay? At any given time, a Palestinian Mandela could arise. Someone who could say, hey, we reject violence. That's not the way. Let's coexist. Let's be the Gandhi. Let's, and fuck it. I know I'm picking an exaggerated position, but there's nothing has arisen. No other group.
It's not possible, Randy. It's never going to happen because it's a fucking ideology. Look at IRGC right now. They can't make peace with the West to stay in power. Just look at them, Randy. They're scrambling. They can't fucking stop making weapon and stop saying death to America and death to Israel. That's all they gotta do to stay in power. They're gonna go because of this ideology. You can't stop an ideology, Randy. And they can't. This is so weird. This is just so weird. They choose violence. They choose killing people. They take. So look, as someone who was born in Islam, I'll tell you this. They teach you, they plant it in your brain that you can never leave this religion. Yes, the book says if you leave Islam, we're gonna kill you, right? They don't scare you like that. They basically tell you, like, you're in blood, you're Muslim, whether you leave Islam or not, people are gonna look at you bad, this, that, everybody wants to destroy you. We've always been victim from the time and time, blah, 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 blah. They plant it in your head. This is why we have, what do we have? 1.8 billion Muslims in the world? 1.5 of that billion Muslims in the world, they don't even know what Islam is. They've never read the book. They never pray. People, this is time for people to stop associating with Islam. If you don't believe in these terror attacks, which is straight from the Quran, from the book, people need to just say, I'm not Muslim. This is not, they need to fucking figure this out, and I think it's time to stop not talking about this. This is enough. I don't understand when is this going to stop?
Well, coming from not only that, culture, I think it shows not only does Israel need to exist, but if it needs to expand its territory for its safety, then that's necessary as well. Including, so
starting with buffer zones.
There needs to be a real talk. There needs to be, I don't care. If you're the Muslim, we have a Farsi saying about this. I'm saying it. I'm comfortable saying whatever I want as a born and raised Muslim. You guys can't, I understand it, but we have a saying. We say, I shit in this Islam and that Islam that you claim this is not that one. It's like, this is not your Islam, you gotta fucking change its name. Call it Islam 2.0. I don't care. But the version of the terror that we see, all the extreme that we see, that's the real Islam. I need people to fucking understand it. So if you don't believe in the book, if you don't believe in the book, if you don't believe in the religion, I don't fucking care.
You gotta call it something else. So you're saying a peaceful Muslim isn't
because
Islam.
Islam is extreme.
And that's,
Islam is a cult. Look, when you leave Islam and you're terrified of saying it, maybe 10 years, 15 years, I wasn't Muslim anymore. I was scared of saying it. When people are scared of saying they're not Muslim, that's not a fucking religion. That's a cult. They need to be banned.
Ban Islam.
I always say it. I say ban this shit. Like, what is this? And people get mad. It's like, my mom's Muslim. Does she believe in any of this? She doesn't even believe men can have 4 wives. So you're not a fucking Muslim. Stop calling yourself a Muslim. She doesn't believe in any of this shit. She doesn't believe to kill people. Like, she doesn't believe. It's just like, no, you're not Muslim. Stop calling yourself, because they're validating. You know, they're by associating to this religion, they're allowing all these terrorism. They're allowing it. This is insane.
You know, I hadn't heard it as well explained as you just did. You know, you blew my mind. Honestly, you're saying what? That like you're saying 80% of the people who identify as Muslim, only 20% practice the practice of Islam.
Randy, I don't know. Randy, the extremists. You know the ones they call them extremists? Like the person, whoever made this.
Well, in Judaism, we call them Orthodox. So they must be a more polite term than extremists.
But
what do you call them?
No, because in Judaism, your religion. Listen, I'm not gonna say your religion, my religion. Judaism doesn't have this ideology that you have to convert everyone to Judaism or you kill them. You have to understand Quran, Islam. Your job as a Muslim is, if you want to go to heaven, you are supposed to convert people all the time, and people who don't convert, you're supposed to kill them. You're not supposed to coexist with them. At some point, like right now, for example, the Muslims in America, if you live in an area that you're a minority, you live with them in peace, but you're supposed to like bread. You know, once your population is more, then they do what they do in Nigeria, which is like killing the Christians. Like in Syria, they're burning like Christian villages down. Like people don't understand. Like
I know.
Islam is against Christianity just as much as they hate Jewish people. It's the same. It's just that we have more Christians, so they don't have power over you. Once they triple your number of people, they're gonna fucking kill you one by one. They're gonna
Statistically, countries like England, France, I don't know all of them, but these countries will soon be possibly even a Muslim majority. It's hard to imagine, but that's the trend. It's an invasion by immigration. Yeah, people don't realize it. It's frankly, I asked before. I think it's too late. It would take, at this point, there's no legal way to solve the Islamification of Europe. It seems to be.
There is, Randy. There is, and it's by literally what some of the countries in Europe have started doing. Deport these motherfuckers back to their countries.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't think we talked about it earlier. I just don't believe that the public supports it. The European public supports it, unfortunately. But that's all right.
Isn't Germany one of the countries that people are actually swinging toward the very, very far right that they're actually like kind of really fascist or something like that because of all these policies that's got them to here to this place?
I'm out of my depth.
I thought they are actually kind of swinging
Mm-hmm.
toward the far right, which I don't blame them. You know, it's like
Right. Yeah.
it's just sad.
Interesting.
This is just so sad, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the solution at the end, but there has to be something. This is not okay.
Correct. All right. Well, you've really educated me on a lot of stuff. I've enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you, Randy. But no, but this is for real. Like there needs to be an upgrade in Islam, which is not even possible because it doesn't align with Western civilization, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because of the violence, I'm going to say it. It's anyone who speaks against Islam in any way. It's one thing to say this on the web, but it's another thing to speak like this in public, and those people are instantly targets, and that's just the way it is. I just know enough. Salman Rushdie, all the people who've been attacked for criticizing Islam. So I think this is going to stay a word of mouth thing. Frankly, the newspapers are even afraid. They are afraid to report on all the crimes of Islam. I think that any newspaper is probably afraid of it.
They are, though.
It's a lot easier to attack Israel. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Anyway.
No, they are. It's just like it's like a freaking mob, and you can't even make any comments because then there's the attack on you. Like, why did you say
this motherfucking Miss Rachel? Someday they're going to find out that she had been paid $1 million or $2 by Qatar or someone. I never saw such a virulent anti-Israel basher. Do you know who I'm talking about, Miss Rachel?
No, is it on Instagram?
She's on all the social media. I think now she has a show on Netflix, and she constantly posts about Israel, how bad shit, accusing Israel of crimes. And she's terrible.
But Randy, tell her who she is. She's a child.
It's a child show.
Yeah, it's a child show.
So she's brainwashing millions of young kids and their families to hate Israel. It's insane. It's your worst nightmare. She's possibly the worst of the worst. Yeah. She's a fucking nobody. She's a no talent. She couldn't make it as a pop singer. I mean, she couldn't make it. Let me be clear. She's a failure. I'll say it, Miss Rachel. I'm coming for you. You know I know you, Rachel Griffith. Okay? You know you were in my office. You know your music is mediocre. So you reinvented yourself as a musician for kids. The lowest. I'm sorry. I should have hired you for my kid's birthday party. Maybe would have given you a tip. But I did, whatever. I know who she is, and she's a phenomenon. I give it up. She's probably a multi-millionaire in her new format. But I wonder what kind of money she took to become such a virulent Jew hater. So there you have it. My post on Miss Rachel. Thanks.
I'm reading about her. I don't know her. I've never heard of her before.
Yeah, well, she's the problem. Because she's kids. We think we're still focusing on the college campuses, but guess what? They've already radicalized the kids in high school and now at the infant level.
When I speak of the
So
you fool.
we need to be, there's work to be done.
You're a fool, because I believe in the nothing. And I'm not an atheist, I'm a theist, and theists believe in nothing.
She's a very active poster.
You're absolutely right. You pretend to believe in it, but you don't. You don't really believe in it. Otherwise, you would follow the book too.
When I speak.
It's amazing all the people that pass through your life. If you just hang in New York just by being around.
You started off with.
I still remember when I first came to New York in early 90s, the hottest artists around, unsigned, everyone was talking about Jeff Buckley. It was a bidding war, and, you know, he had some great music. Then he died tragically young, and this year there's a documentary about him. But, you know, just a lot of musicians. I still remember, what's her name, Lisa Loeb? Do people know who that is with the song Stay?
Yeah, but how do we get out talking about choosing to music, right?
You were gone, I'm sorry. We talking about Miss Rachel. I'm sorry. We were talking about Miss Rachel.
Fuck that girl.
Exactly. We just did a whole, you missed it. We did 10, 15 minutes on Miss Rachel.
Worst capo ever. Like,
dude, she's not Jewish. I mean, capos were Jewish.
She was.
No.
I thought she was Jewish.
Dude, if she's Jewish,
she's Jewish.
I better look this up. You know, I met her.
She is Jewish, and she is. That's why the whole community is so enraged as well. Not only is she like a children's host.
No, wait. Okay, Rachel. You know what? I think there's more than one person named Miss Rachel. I think there's more than one person. I happen to know her.
Sophia Deromi.
She's Jewish.
I really haven't found that confirmed yet. Miss Rachel.
People in the audience because I'm driving.
Yeah, I'd love to. No one has wanted to come up.
I'm looking, hi, Rena. I'm looking online. I don't see anything. She looks Christian to me, though. She doesn't look Jewish to me.
No,
it's not the looks.
I don't know.
There's no such thing.
I mean, you know what? She can actually be Jewish.
Here we go. I got one for you. Here's a data point for you. Yes, her whole upbringing, she was born in Maine, raised as a single mother, boom, 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 attended school. Okay, first reference to religion is here. She met her husband at a Unitarian church in New York 2010. That's the first mention of religion in here. I never heard she was Jewish, and as I've said, you weren't here, but I actually met her. She pitched some music to me. I published a few of her songs. She was a pop artist she was like a Katy Perry type.
You published some of her songs. You haven't published my songs, Randy.
I'm teasing. Talk about mixing metaphors. Listen, she was a Katy Perry wannabe. That's what she was. Yeah, everything I'm telling you is 100% truth. She was a Katy Perry wannabe and average, very mid, but she reinvented herself. It turns out the kids' market is a lot, it's a different world. And somehow she's a superstar. I don't really know her content. I don't want, my daughter is too old for this. We were into other music when we were younger, when she was younger, but Miss Rachel seems to have she's huge. I can't say I know her music. So there you have it. Now you know the rest of the story. But I really believe she must be getting paid, and I'll say it again and again.
Yeah.
Someone must be paying her to be such a hater.
No, I think this is the problem with artists, actually. Artists are inherently anti-Zionist. It's like they're leftist. It's just part of the community. It's like what's happening in Hollywood. Seth Rogen's Jewish, and Drake is Jewish, and they're all like, support Palestine. It's just like the popular culture.
Look, where you and I differ is that you always see it bleaker than I do, okay? I still see most artists as being pro-Israel.
Realistic, and you see it through rosy-colored glasses.
Well, call me a cockeyed optimist. I do believe that most musicians and most artists do support Israel. Yes, Roger Fuckface and Pink Floyd, yes, I'm not in denial.
Actually.
It's okay.
Most.
I believe most artists, listen, right now, David Ellison bought Paramount, and if I read correctly, he's not going to work with artists who are boycotting Israel. That means Paramount Studio will not work with actors who are... So I think, I prefer to see the positive.
Yeah, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But my experience has been, I always ran into leftist, Marxist, leftist jihadist supporting, people in the art scene nonstop. And now I don't involve myself whatsoever in the art scene because it was so intolerable.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
It's not your fault.
I know. I'm saying I'm sorry. Sometimes people say I'm sorry, and it's not their fault.
Randy, I was just explaining the other day.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I was just explaining the other day that there is a comedy show in Toronto. I went to 2 different comedy shows. All of them have provided the venue information at the last minute. So they're Jewish comedians performing for Jews in secret environments because of all the anti-Semitism they're experiencing.
Right. Yeah. That's horrible. It's horrible, but that's right.
And the worst part about it? They were terrible comics.
Wow. Is that really the worst part?
Oh, no.
I was going to say, yeah.
Do you guys know when is the next election in Australia?
Not soon enough.
Hey, Daniel, welcome to the room. Hope you can elevate the conversation.
And average. Very little. Against herself. It turns out that she's working against a lot. It's a different world. And sometimes she's a superstar.
I don't know what happened.
I don't really know her content. My daughter's too old for this. We were into
I don't know.
when we were.
The Mossad is now.
Milk with honey. I don't know. I drank like 1 liter of it.
The Mossad is now joining the investigation in Australia.
Whoa!
Are they?
What
Really?
is that? Yeah.
Daniel,
They're gonna be fucked.
that's good. That's good because I was thinking today that Israel yes, we've been talking all day on and off about the inadequate response of government to worldwide rise in anti-Semitism. It's been a topic all day, on and off. And I'm thinking to myself, Israel has to get involved. They have to have undercover operatives in Australia to penetrate this market. And I didn't say it, but I'm glad to hear that great minds think alike. I'm happy to hear that's good. That, again, there's going to be a proactive response, and that is good.
Randy is like happy to learn that they read my thoughts.
Well, Randy, they actually, whenever they made the statement, they're like, we want to thank Randy from Clubhouse for the recommendation. Or
Well, I'm not taking it that far. I'm just saying, I said great minds think alike.
I'm just saying you should be proud. They've actually acknowledged
Randy
you.
is a great mind.
He notices
Well,
things.
it wouldn't be the
I'm a
worst thing.
professional noticer. I noticed that.
Success has many fathers. Let's put it that way. We can all take the credit.
So, Rena, do you know how sometimes someone says, I'm sorry, but they're not responsible? But success has many fathers.
All Canadians, you mean? They say sorry, but they're not really sorry.
Failure is an orphan. That's the corollary, Sure. This is the question. It's not an easy statement to say that the Mossad is going to be involved.
I think it's about time, Randy. And honestly, I would appreciate if Mossad also came to fucking Europe because, nobody's doing shit here.
Exactly.
And
That's what has to happen.
It's about time somebody does something,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's going to happen, and I just hope it stays very low key. It's very low key, and I hope they're successful because it's a war. It's a full-on war.
Yeah.
And that's that.
The war has not stopped, indeed.
Right.
This is only going to get worse.
Much worse.
I know it. I can feel it. It is going to get worse.
It's going to get much worse.
It's a cancer. If you don't treat it and you only condemn the cancer, you can condemn the cancer as much as you want.
I condemn my cancer.
Yeah, but if you don't do shit about it, it will kill you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I just condemn it.
I condemn the cancer. It's a bad thing. I'm against it.
I love that. We should use that. Do you condemn cancer? Yeah, of course I condemn cancer. Okay, what do you do about it?
I condemn strongly, and I will write a letter also. Strong words I will use.
I speak out against cancer.
These people like
rally against cancer.
like many of the pro-parties, when we mention Hamas, they will say, I condemn Hamas, let's move on. Like, okay, if you condemn Hamas, then let's move on. Nothing happened there.
Daniel, did you hear about the report in Australia that came from the leaders of the Jewish community citing 400% increase in anti-Semitic attacks? And then there was a member of the Australian Parliament who said, "Oh, it's always the Jews crying wolf." You know, it's like she goes this yeah. She like went on a full-on rant about how the Jewish lobby, you know, is like embellishing this, you know, supposed anti-Semitic drive.
After the attack? After the attack or before?
No, just before this attack. It was like last week.
Okay.
But she's been in the government saying like how the Jewish lobby controls everything, like full on anti-Jewish libels, and it's pretty terrible. She's in the government.
I mean, Jewish
The government's supposed
people
to
have been doing
protect
really
them.
bad, Rena.
Hmm?
I'm saying the Jewish people, you guys are not that good. You're not good at genocide. You're not good at your lobbying. Like, I don't get it. Like, you guys are in charge of everything. You don't know how to, like, control the media when you're in charge of it, too.
It's true.
It's like, these people are fucking stupid.
We're great at music.
Yeah, we're really good at comedy and
Music, Bob Dylan, Lou Reed. Yeah. Rock and roll.
Randy got my joke, Randy. I'm saying, like, they
I know.
But he did get the
I'm adding on to your
He's
joke.
trying to make it funnier.
Yeah.
Can I play a clip of this comedian?
I already saw it. He's very funny. Yeah, no, but go ahead. He's hilarious.
It's just like a compilation of new like his best moments. How
And also-
Did you hear the one where he said like right after October 7th? He's like, so we said never again. Now it's never ever ever.
Yeah.
But it happened again.
It's like they said to us never again. So, but after 7 October is never ever again.
Never.
And today it's never ever again.
Yeah. No, he's hilarious. I saw him live. He's funny.
I like his accent, that he's
I
unapologetic.
know.
Yeah.
So thick.
Okay.
Yeah. He said that
Okay,
when he
let me
first
play
started
just a
doing
little
comedy-
bit of it.
Yeah,
Let me
but
play
when he
just a little
first
bit.
started doing comedy in English, he actually didn't speak English, so that's what it's even fun.
Oh, sorry for what it is, but...
Hi, I'm Cassie Kozer.
Sorry, 1
Hi,
second.
Cassie.
No.
Okay, you call me stupid. Why do you think I'm stupid? That's fine. Do you think he's stupid? You call me colonizer and you're British.
Okay, well,
That was great.
He said,
okay, here it is.
just tell us how many times we have. We want to know. 5 more times, we want to know.
Sorry, I fucked up.
Okay,
Sorry, I fucked
How are
up.
you guys doing? This is so hard to get into. This video will watch. You'll high small Israeli stand-up comedian who does comedy in English. He is funny as hell. He talks about current situations. Let's watch. People hate this again. I'm upset that they promised us never again after the They promised us never again, and it happened again. I'll say never ever again. What's the next one? Never ever ever.
The guy laughing.
How many times we have? You know.
What, is it banned?
No,
No, it's
laughing
funny.
out loud, which is funny. Like that.
So it's like, never ever.
Ever.
We want to know. 5 more times, we want to know how many times. Stop lying to us, you know? We're the best guys. Are you shitting me? No, our hospital, they got hit by Hamas rockets. No one talked about it in national news. They shot from their hospital. Aiming our hospitals. Sometimes hitting their hospitals. They did not. How innocent can you be? And in South Africa, there you go. South Africa, it's shocking to you, right? South Africa blame us in apartheid. Something that they invented. And who come to defend us? Just just because they don't want to give us the credit or something that they know how to do better. This is
The one laughing in the crowd, super loud.
Muslims in the house, some Muslims? Yes. Absolutely, man. Thank you for coming, my friend. What's your name? Paul? What Muslim about Paul? Bro, you can't be Paul. It's a letter that you guys don't have.
By the way, the joke comes from the fact that they call it Palestine, which the name that the Romans gave it was Palestine. And the reason why they say Palestine is because they don't have the letter P, so they made it up into Palestine. That's the joke.
Where are you from, my friend? Pakistan? And how did you hear about the Uzbekistan? Kitover She is really on the map.
He said that these things are different.
What? Illumi.
Like he said, like where are you from? Pakistan, and then someone from the crowd said Uzbekistan, and then he said in Hebrew as if there's a difference.
Okay, that's what he said.
Hi. Illumi and I saw him together. He's amazing. He's the best.
Oh, really? Oh, you guys are so lucky. he's really good. Let me just run a couple more jokes.
So far, everything was true. Enjoy the nothing. Oh, you're from Uzbekistan? Full Muslim? And how did you hear about breaks? Listen, you're so minority right now. You don't even know. And I'm so happy you're here if your attention is good. Maybe you came to kill people and you're just... Oh, how did you hear about the show, my friend? Your wife is Jewish. We really respect that when the mother is Jewish.
Because then the sons and daughters are going to be Jewish as well. By the way, in Muslim belief, it's the father that has to be Muslim. So very confusing when you have a Jewish mother and a Muslim father.
If it was that opposite, they would not applaud. Believe me, I know.
I got kicked from the room.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
I got kicked
Shall
from
be
the
led
room.
away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So when we look at that land right now, Jerusalem, we see
right? And so it's like that sort of piecemeal process.
Even a Muslim majority, it's hard to imagine, but that's the trend. It's an invasion by immigration. Yeah.
Benjamin, Levi, so on, right? 12 tribes. But anyway.
Attempts at human beings to come up with a kind of, useful worldview, right? It's not going to be that just appeared one day.
But to your point about sacrifice.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to your point about sacrifice, based on what Piper just said, I've also read where, with the simplistic understanding that these early humans or beings would have had, they see these natural disasters happening, like a volcano or a horrible storm or some pestilence, and they see others dying. So they're going, okay, these things are dying. These things that are happening that we don't understand are making them die. What if we just made a few die before the things happen? Maybe that would have some kind of effect on whether or not the horrible thing happens. It's not unreasonable to assume
like
that.
A logical next step. Do you see what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't it be? Why would it have to be? Wait. Why would it have to be logical?
I wouldn't jump there.
Wait, do you think these
sacrifice my neighbor?
Do you think ancient peoples are basing these kind of decisions on logic?
Yes. In
Why?
the same way that we are, because we're logical creatures. We have a consciousness. We have the same thought process that I'm thinking with right now.
You don't think the overwhelming fear that like an early hunter-gatherer type person as like, you know, a human being that is basically just fighting for their very existence every day against nature and against bigger animals and them and all that kind of stuff. They're not kind of fears that would override.
Assumption that they're going to say,
why isn't this not being here before?
Fear is an incredible motivator.
But
well, no, I mean,
but to do
wait,
that,
no, but Mr.
There's no causal
but
effect
Mr.
one for another.
Why?
Mr.
He was from the
Mr.
why.
But look, like, you
Yeah.
don't just get to go sacrifice
right.
one day. Like, the reason people started sacrificing animals eventually was over time they constructed a belief system which included these like supernatural forces that they would have to appease, right? And you know, appeasing them ultimately ended up being doing things like sacrificing animals, right? Principally because they often would imagine that there was like, you know, one of those supernatural beings was actually the spirit animating the animal or something like that. But that required like, you know, a sophistication and development of the worldview of these people. It didn't just happen one day that they were sacrificing goats.
But that's just not what the evidence shows. The evidence shows that it appeared.
That is what the evidence shows.
That's exactly what the evidence shows. I don't know.
No, the evidence shows that it appeared. And here's the other thing.
No, it doesn't.
It appeared in a blanket sense in independent
Well,
environments.
no, because that doesn't make any sense with the evidence that we actually have. Because like the reason that they sacrificed goats, right, was because they had a worldview structure that made that seem like the thing that they needed to do, right? And that worldview structure was, you know, inevitably going to be constructed, you know, over time as a result of the experiences of these people in that environment, right?
But
So
that's
it's like,
not a one for one. You can't get. I mean, anybody.
It's inevitably
anybody
it's inevitably not going to be the case that just happened that they were sacrificing goats one day. It's silly.
Look, modern humans today, right? Today, which should be technically based on what you're saying, being based on more logical thinking. Today, they're still making belief claims about miracles and prayers that based on these coincidental correlations between a prayer and something happening. Why wouldn't you think that would also apply to like ancient people that did not think as logically, but maybe even thought more emotionally? Why wouldn't they be making more correlations like that?
To kill something, there's no effect, right? So if you
wait, what do you mean there's no effect? What do you mean there's no?
Okay, so if I just kill something and I say I wish that if I kill this thing that it's going to rain.
And what if that did happen? What if that coincidental correlation did happen? Even one time when they really needed it, where they would not, in their simpler thinking, would not say, okay, let's keep trying that. And they could have failed 10 times, and every one time they did succeed, they feel like they succeed.
But you're talking about a huge leap from saying, I'm going to wait for rain.
You understand that? Wait, you understand? Wait,
that's huge. To kill something.
No. Look. You understand that hunter-gatherer tribes in like prehistoric times are not like they don't have the same like way of thinking about the world that post-enlightenment human beings do.
That's right.
You understand that?
Well, I think
like
you're
going to be completely different.
Egotism. I think that you think that older people are stupid. I think you think
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do. I mean, first of all, it is true. It is true that hunter-gatherers in prehistoric times had less information about the structure and nature of the physical world than we do. That's because scientific progress is a thing. But it's not even about them being dumber. It's about the fact that they didn't think about the world in the same way we do, right? Because they hadn't had the Enlightenment or the scientific revolution yet.
But what are you?
They hadn't even had some of the like proto-scientific developments in the ancient world.
We're being cognitive elitists, Piper stuff.
Yeah, against the Neanderthals, right? So what I'm saying is that you're
talking about
you're assuming that a dumb individual will say, "Well, I'm just."
I just told you it's not about them being dumb. Can you put your listening ears on, please?
No, but what you're saying is crazy, though. To say it's one.
No, it's not. It is one of the least crazy things that anyone has ever said.
Something or somebody for rain. And then not only that, that it popped up all over the world. That
Do you not comprehend that people had different belief systems than you in the prehistoric times? Like, do you not comprehend that people separated from you and your culture by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years?
And humans were extremely nomadic. They got around.
You understand that those people, right, are not going to think about the world the way that you do, right? You get that?
Yeah, those people are idiots.
Oh
my God! I think you're an idiot.
I'm sure you do, but you're missing the point. You're absolutely missing the point. Sacrifice is a fundamental part of all religious thought, and it appeared at the same time. That's one indication that the spiritual.
It didn't appear at the same time. No evidence of that whatsoever.
All over the world. So that's one.
Flavor. The thing about it is, there were people like maybe even 100 years ago, maybe about 60 years ago, right, that probably still believe in these same ancient rituals, right, because they were cut off from the rest of the world that had scientific view. So notice something there. It's just the fact that that's all they knew. So now you give them enlightenment, and suddenly they don't know that anymore. Suddenly their behavior changed. You see how it just has something to do with just not knowing? Those people back then did not know.
So that's my next point. That actually takes it to my next point. That in history, the Judeo-Christian reality is that in the first century, religion changed. That pagan sacrifices began to be extremely unpopular. And they had been going on since the very beginning.
Where was that?
All over the world.
No, that's not true. In the first century. Wait, hold on. So you just named one area on the planet. Meanwhile, there's other areas.
starting in Jerusalem.
Okay, so the point is this is all based on knowledge, right? It's all knowledge based, correct?
Exactly, that's my point. That in history, there was a particular point where religion changed. That the concept of the pagan sacrifice began to be unpopular, even though it's been around since the very beginning.
Okay, so it wasn't from the very beginning.
That's a non-temporal intervention in history.
But the problem is it wasn't just a beginning, because when you look across the world, right? People had different ways of doing sacrifices, if they did them at all, right? But they definitely had different rituals that don't even resemble each other.
Is sacrifice a fundamental component of all religion?
I don't know that. I don't know that much.
I would say even in Buddhism, where they abhor sacrifice.
Wait, Buddhism?
The concept of yes. In Buddhism, they don't sacrifice. It's either Buddhism, Hinduism. There's a concept of non-sacrificial belief, and it was in when Buddhism first was introduced, it was revolutionary. That what? There's a non-sacrificial obedience to a deity. So it did catch on, right? So the concept of sacrifice.
Why did this have to be the guy that's going to be like the only person like on stage who's like?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend, but the concept of sacrifice being a blanket.
It's just like you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So the concept of sacrifice being an integral part of all religion is it means that there is some other force directing the concept of religion, because in reality, sacrifice and belief don't go together. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not a one for one. I believe, therefore I sacrifice.
No, because, oh my God. You got me saying, oh my God, goodness. All right, so first of all, again, there were thousands, appealing to myself. There was, I got the wrong PTR up. Damn it. I'm supposed to have the God PTR up. I don't today. I have the regular one. So first of all, there were thousands and thousands of different religions that developed in different time periods, right? And they look different. They might cross, in various different attributes of the religion. But that does not say that every one of them did sacrifice or did sacrifice in the same way. there were animals that didn't exist in certain regions of the world.
Yeah,
so definitely
even the simplest search of multiple sources,
The
historical, whatever.
concept of
I mean, dude, I've just checked several sources. Sacrifice. No, not AI. Sacrifice is not a fundamental part of all religions. It's just a false statement.
Definitely.
Okay, so just in all ritual religion, in all pagan religion, what we call traditionalists, and this is what we find in the deepest jungles in Africa, in the deepest Amazonian forest tribe, we find some people that are practicing ritual sacrifice as a religion. And you're going to tell me that that sacrifice isn't an integral part of religion?
But again, like I said,
Google it all day, but experience it.
If you don't understand what we're talking, I don't know where else there is to go with this.
Yeah, because like I said, there were different religions that developed differently, some way more complicated than others, in the same time that there were ones that were very, very, I'm going to use your word, primitive in its standing. So are you ignoring the fact that religion evolved? Are you trying to say that it just popped up and said, we're just like this?
It appeared. Yeah, even the
that
concept
doesn't even make any sense.
That's what you're not understanding.
There's no evidence.
You've been in a world. No worries. Because
I'm not looking at the world the way it stands, the way I look at it.
Exactly. You're looking backwards.
I'm looking at it. No, right, but I'm looking at the historical facts of the religion and the development of the. Google this. You can Google the development of any religion, and you can tell that they all evolved. Like, this doesn't even make any sense. You just said they just poof and suddenly they have all the rituals, sacrifice, everything intact from day one. How does that even make any sense?
Right. That means it comes
you
from
cannot
an
believe
outside
that.
source. No,
you cannot believe that.
This is what you're missing. This is what you're missing. The concept of sacrifice is specific. It's ultra specific. I mean, because we have it here in this culture right now, we look at it as, that religion and sacrifice, they go together. But in reality, logically, they don't. They don't have anything to do with one another, right? The fact that it is permeated through every single religion, the concept of sacrifice is unique. That's unique. And because it's unique
to what?
Because it appeared, and because it's unique, and because it appeared, that means it had to be there's some sort of truism with the concept of belief in the supernatural and sacrifice.
Yeah,
that's what you guys are not recognizing.
But they were unreligious sacrificial practices.
Sort of objective truism to the concept of believing in the supernatural and sacrifice.
Yeah, but Flavor, they are unreligious sacrificial rituals. You do know that, right? That's why I'm so confused by this. Anybody that says, am I wrong when I made that statement? There are unreligious sacrificial rituals that existed in humanity and history?
I don't know. No. All religious observance.
My books were a brave guy.
Yeah, it was very bad, by the way. It's like
You've earned your license to string your schlong.
hello, my fellow Clubhouse brain rot sufferers. I would like to read a poem for 60 seconds, if I may.
Please, what's your bedtime?
Thank you, darling.
Is he reading in silence?
Bani Adam, were you circumcised? Okay, if you're suffering from brain rot and you don't know what to do, just listen closely with your ears instead of your mouths. That's right. Use your ears. Here we go. It's called meditation. I am the clarion call of the beyond, reverberating myself throughout the garden of delight. I am thy breath of life. O child of Eden, pervading thee with the perfumed fragrance of my spirit, thy very self am I, O Israel, and self of all that is. Deluded by the delusion of personal independence, the uninstructed mistake the descent of my power from the life breath of Ruach for an ascent of power from my manifestations in Malkuth. Know ye that never does power have its beginning in that which is below. It doth ascend from earth to heaven, even as Hermes saith, and from heaven it descendeth again to earth, as also he saith. Yet remember that whatsoever the sages write is always veiled, lest the profane Huron clown house burn themselves with the fires they know not how to direct. Thus canst thou see that they who read the words of the sages on clown house with the outer eye alone mistake the inner import. Dost thou aspire to the height of the sphere of the sun? Worthy is thine aspiration, but many are called, and few are chosen on clown house. For only if thou canst understand the written word with thine heart, canst thou perceive that even thy aspiration cometh not from the levels of Gupf and Nefesh, but is truly the reflection of my descending power from Ruach. Always then is aspiration like the reflected image of the sun in a glass, which if it striketh straight into the eyes, seemeth to be the sun itself. No man riseth.
Sorry, you asked for 60 seconds. You went for more than 60 seconds. So,
James.
sorry, music. I just had to bring justice back into the room. So anyway, hey, Zabu, are you there? Zabu.
Here you'll be next.
Yeah. What?
Zabu. So the Lord said to John, John, come forth, and I will give you salvation. John came fifth, and he got a toaster.
Was it fifth or his fifth time?
He didn't come forth, he came fifth.
Oh my god.
Okay, that was
You're
bad.
telling me. It was bad, but I appreciate it a lot. I think you're funny.
Where you graduated from Compton High School, by chance? I'm looking for Compton High School graduates.
Yeah.
No? Just say no, yes or no. It's a direct question. You don't have to comment or react. I'm being very serious. The Compton High School football locker room is very notorious, by the way. In case you don't know that.
Yeah, the two guys in Australia, they did.
Thanks, Marcus, for lying. Appreciate it. We're trying to provide shade for rape victims on Clubhouse. That's what Clubhouse is for.
How much does
So here's the contradiction. I'm going to explain this really quick. Yeah. Mark 7 is not about pork or kosher laws. It's about hand washing and tradition. Jesus explains that food doesn't defile the heart because the digestion expels impurity, not just because the Torah was abolished. If Jesus had revoked dietary laws, Peter wouldn't still be keeping 8 years later in Acts 10. The phrase declaring all foods clean is a translation interpretation, not a command. And I'll double down. I could double down on this. And this is actually in the same verses in Matthew, so good luck.
He said good luck.
That's a challenge. It's an open challenge, by the way.
Oh, I know he's correct in what he's saying, because it would have been consistent. That was the only thing, and so therefore, some people might have misinterpreted the text because they were doing their best, but they didn't know the original context of literature or whatever, the culture, the original spirit of why it was written and why that was a law and all that. But even though I don't really like to eat pork, there are means to cultivate pork that are more cleanly than before. However, it still has a funny taste.
Hundvara, you don't have to eat pork with your hands. You can always use a fork and knife. Anyway.
No, even with your fork and knife, it still tastes like. Have you ever had wild pork?
No. So here's my question to you. You know how you have a man, and the man is like a normal guy, but then when you have a con man, then that suddenly becomes a guy you detest. Correct?
Marcus is not the mark in this room.
One second, right? So you have man and con man. So if you have a text and you read it and you say, hey, this text makes sense, do you think then it follows that context is the opposite?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, moderators. I'd like to be put back in the queue because obviously we're not gaining anything here. But I'd like to read another poem for 60 seconds. So put me in the queue whenever Marcus is finished. Thank you very little.
Go for it. Oh, you're next.
Okay, here we go. What page is it on? Okay, here we go. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the sediments of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a windless palm. Fourth, let the will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs. Enhance, hour after hour, thy clown house vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward miss no atom of analysis. Sixth, on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy clown house being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy. Prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God, should he distract thy attention from the chosen clown house act. Last of all these things in one overpowered time that the midnight clown house blossom.
Thank you. You got your 60 seconds. That was really good. Yeah, it took 65 seconds, even more so. Kind of like I felt cornered there.
Oh, I was saying thank you to giving him more time, not the actual piece. Well, thank you for the piece.
We can always bring it back up. I mean, I do quite enjoy listening to poetry.
Mods have prerogatives. I would like to talk about rape victims in LA, but that's up to you. It's always about campaigning, Marcus. There's always a campaign. Problem solved.
I think just grab the bull by the horns and address him directly. Like, you know where he is. He's on Clubhouse somewhere.
Because there were several of them. And one of them is material witness. That's the.
Do you have evidence with these claims that you're making?
Her body is the evidence. That's the problem.
What did she tell you?
Yes, but I have to see it. That's kind of the issue.
Why can't you advise her to report to the authorities and let them deal with it?
She left the app. And the one person who's actually willing to testify wants guaranteed immunity. Otherwise, he's going to lead to a non-extradition country. I mean, Mark, listen to me. I know many people have heard this story, but in actuality, I do have evidence where it's true.
I actually have
dollars framework, whatever way that is, like them living under a Christian framework or Christians living under a Muslim framework. What you cannot have is both ruling the same country because they're not compatible.
Well, no, the thing is, it's worse than that. You can't have them just like, if there are Muslim countries in the world, you can't just be like, all right, we're going to do our thing over here, you do your thing over there, we'll just leave you people alone.
It's not.
That's not enough. They won't leave us alone. We would leave them alone, but they won't leave us alone. That's the problem.
Because they're a colonizer ideology.
There's also I think the thing Michael was originally pointing at was, I think we all kind of grew up kind of in this like end of history moment. So some of these things are like new that we've been having to think about because this just wasn't a thing that you ever had to think about, like you just grew up and like somebody celebrated Hanukkah, somebody celebrated Christmas. You never had to think about anything. It wasn't like a thing, right? But there is this complicated relationship between Jews and Christians, and there's a friction there, but there's also a camaraderie there, and they're both responsible for building Western civilization, So like again, like I think Michael has the right take, which is like people just need to learn to get along, but that also means like we can call Jewish people on their shit without it being anti-Semitism, because some of the things that they're doing as a group are real, and you're allowed to say it. It's not like you have to be quiet.
Like what? Like what? As a group, what are they doing?
Hello, Music AI.
Hello, and Isa, you have my name in the wrong title. Are you doxing me or are you doxing John Fakuri?
This guy seems stable.
So, but it's a good question actually. What things
He
do
saw
they
Goat Fucker in the title and he identified that as his name.
Well, so for instance, I mean the AIPAC Israel, foreign lobbying is something that really is not beneficial to Americans, but is beneficial to Jewish interests.
Well, lobbying is legal. It's
well, no, the way in which they do it is you have to register as a foreign lobbying arm in America under FARA.
They're Jewish Americans doing the lobbying.
Yeah, on behalf of a foreign government. So that's the thing. It's a gray area workaround.
Yeah, I know it's a gray area.
No, but it's not really a gray area. It's just a legal loophole. Like, it is foreign lobbying, just straight up. And again, it's not anti-Semitic to say this. And the annoying part of the conversation is, like, anytime I have a reasonable criticism, somebody will be like, that's anti-Semitic. And it's like, just shut the fuck up. How about that? It's the same thing with, like, when you want to talk about, per capita crime statistics, that, like, black males are disproportionately violent. You can say that without being racist against every man who's black on the planet, But there's this like bad faith argument that anytime you bring up any single criticism, oh, you must be racist against the entire group. And it's like, just shut the fuck up with that shit. Anybody who's promoting that, any way, shape, or form, is an enemy of America.
Yeah, so, and this is something that I always talk to them. And I always tell them that this anti-Semitic narrative is playing against them, because if you make everything anti-Semitic, then nothing will be anti-Semitic.
They've already lost that game. You can't play it anymore.
And actually what they do, I mean, when you create with this, with racism or feminism or whatever, is that when you shove it enough, down the throat of people, they actually end up being racist or or misogynist
or anti-Semitic.
or anti-Semitic.
Like
Yeah.
an edgelord meme, like the Groyper thing, which then people who aren't internet native don't understand. So I think part of the problem on the Jewish side is there's not enough of an effort to like really build this coalition in a sense. And I think part of it starts with not getting triggered and understanding the internet culture. Like, okay, even if it is anti-Semitic, you just need to go